Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching my breakdown for the panel from Hell. So, for those unaware, Baldur's Gate 3 had a content panel called the Panel from Hell, in which Jeff Keighley from Summer Games, he sat down with Larian Studios director Sven Vinker and their senior writer Adam Smith, as well as Chris Perkins, who is the principal game designer for the tabletop version of D&D. But they sat down and they gave a panel about the upcoming Baldur's Gate 3. First things first, they gave a release date, so I'm going to give that straight off the bat for people who want to know. Early Access is coming out on the 30th of September. You could see some tentativeness when Sven gave this date. I think they don't want to set that in stone, but now they've given a specific date, people are going to take it as if it's set in stone irrespective, so I sympathise with them on that. But in any case, 30th of September is the day we've got. I'm going to go into sort of the more specific things I went through on the panel. First off, how their development's been hindered by COVID. Specifically, they've been doing a lot of working from home. They're doing that as much as practical. And they're now up and running, but they're about 50 to 60% capacity. But a notable thing is that their recording studios are back up and running now, so they can finish recording all the dialogue lines that they have, which was something that was really holding them back, because COVID, it's hard to do social distancing in a recording studio, but they've managed to get them back up and running, so that's really good. They're going to hopefully get all the recording for the early access done relatively soon. As far as how much is done at this point, it seems to me that what Sven was indicating is that as far as the actual content goes for the core stuff, a lot of it is already done. Aside from, of course, the fact that if any of the devs say, hey, this would be cool, then, whoops, there's another 30 dialogue lines that they've got to put in for potentialities because they've got to add something. They seem to be they do that quite a lot. It seems to be a relatively collaborative office, so if someone says, hey, what if we did this would be cool, generally it ends up being put in the game. Adam was saying that it tends to happen quite a lot. They actually showed off a scene with a intellect devourer, which is effectively a brain monster. They're little beasties that are created by mind flayers. If you want to watch it, I'd watch the entire panel. It's about an hour and a half, but moving on, their main issue they're actually having is optimization. Sven said it was going well, he was talking to the team and they weren't stressed for the first time he's seen in ages, so that's something. But optimization, as he points out, you don't really know how long it's going to take you. It's very hard to gauge how long optimization is going to take you, specifically because it's not until you finish optimizing one thing that you can really tell what you need to move on to next to actually make things run smoothly. I think specifically they're trying to get this out for Steam and Stadia for the 30th of September, and I assume, I could be wrong here, but I think Stadia probably has its own problems when it comes to optimizations. I'm not entirely sure how their technology works with that. It's effectively game streaming is what Stadia is, for those who aren't aware. So the actual game is played on a system elsewhere, and then you stream the content to your own computer. It means that you can play with less powerful computers, because essentially all the processing power is done off-site on another computer. But it's interesting to see how that is affecting their optimization, because it's still... I mean, the technology isn't new, but the implementation of the technology is relatively new. I think that's pretty much it for the non-spoilery stuff. So from this point, it's spoilery in the fact that if you want to go in completely blind, then I'd stop watching here. So thanks for watching, if you are going to stop here. But we're going to go into some of the early game cinematics and gameplay, like literally from the start of the game. First things first, I want to actually show you the complete intro cinematic to the game, which I'll play right now. Alright, and that, we're back. So, we're heading into Avernus at the start of the game as a level 1 character. As I said, it's going to go into a bit more spoilery territory now, so if you don't want that, leave now, please. So for those who are not in the know for D&D lore, Avernus is the first layer of Baldur, or more commonly, the Nine Hells. It is the frontline battlefield for the Blood War, which is an endless battle between the forces of chaos versus the forces of order and law. Specifically, it's a fight between demons and devils. Demons are kind of true chaotic evil. All they want to do is destroy, kill, and smash anything in their path. They're the embodiment of entropy. Whereas devils, I mean, they're still evil, but their goals are more to subjugate and rule everything. So, as such, they believe in order and hierarchy. And because of this, they want to stop the demons from engulfing the entire universe in destruction. But with all that backstory out of the way, we're dropped smack bang in the middle of one of these conflict zones. Certainly going to be interesting to see how we get out of that, but we could be seeing some fights with some demons and or devils pretty early on, it would seem. In any case, another interesting story beat that they noted is that for those who have played The Descent into Avernus, which is the latest tabletop D&D adventure, it's actually canon in the universe. And as such, Elturel was thrown into hell. Elturel is a city kind of, was it northeast of Baldur's Gate? But that city was ripped, the entire city was ripped into hell, and Adam has stated that Elturel, quote-unquote, was saved. How specifically that's done, we don't really know yet, because in the adventure there's a lot of ways that it can be saved. I mean, you can kill Zariel, you can make a deal with Zariel, you can trick Zariel, you can free the Planetar yourself. Hell, you can ask Tiamat. She just helps you because it pisses off the bitch that took her job. Many, many more ways you can do it. And for those who are big D&D nerds like me, those sentences probably made some kind of sense. For everybody else, just know that there are a lot of possible world states that the world of Faerun may be in during Baldur's Gate 3. Moving on to some of the actual game mechanics to expect in the early access. For starters, the level cap is level 4 in early access, which may seem kind of low, but in D&D terms, 4 is actually rather significant. By this level, you've unlocked your subclass, and you have a chance to unlock a feat. There's a large variety of character builds you can have just by level 4 with the amount of stuff that D&D has. As for classes, Sven wasn't incredibly specific about which will be in early access. He did specify that Rogue, Fighter, and Hunter are going to be there. And I'm going to make the hard assumption that Warlock, Cleric, and Wizard are also going to be in there as well, because that list of 6, they're the classes of the companions that we know are in early access. So they're the companions that are actually in the game, so I assume all those classes are actually going to be there as well. Also stated that more races and classes are going to be added during the early access, so they're going to continue adding content as the early access progresses, as they can release them, I suppose. And as Larian did with both Divinity Original Sin games, the early access is being used to change and balance the game based on player feedback. So as far as development goes, the early access is sure to expect like a lot of changes as it goes. Early access at the start of early access to halfway through to the end is probably going to be in 3 different stages. For anybody who played Divinity Original Sin 2 in the early access, what it was at the start of that early access to what we got at release was incredibly different, and I think we can probably expect the same for Baldur's Gate 3. Larian takes player feedback really, really well, and if something is good and someone makes a good suggestion, they do discuss it, and if it's a good if it's fits in and it's good, they will do it. They'll change things and they'll fix things. It's one of the better development companies when it comes to doing stuff like that. The early access just isn't just like a, well, let's throw it out so we can make some money quickly off the early adopters. It's literally effectively a beta test. They put it out and they say, what in here is good, what in here is bad, what do we need to change, all that kind of stuff. But I think that's pretty much it. I think I covered all the main points that I wanted to cover. If you want to watch the whole thing, as I said, it's about an hour and a half. There's a link in the description so you can go see it. Unfortunately, it's a bit jumpy in parts. The live stream had a few hitches, but all in all, it was some pretty good information. But in any case, if you like the video, please leave a like. If you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And as always, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time. Also, my Warlock speculation guide will be up later today. I finished it, and then I noticed some weird artifacting in the final product, so I'm going to re-edit it and upload it later today. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, I'm going to say goodbye. See you guys.